In life, many people believe that winning is the only measure of success. We always try to run faster than others, reach higher positions, and gain recognition from everyone around us. But sometimes, when we focus only on winning for ourselves, we forget the people who are running beside us. A victory that no one shares with you can feel empty. True success is not only about reaching the finish line first, but about how we walk the path to get there. When we learn to care, to help, and to move forward together with others, victory becomes more complete and meaningful. In a small town, there was a young man named Ethan who believed that winning was the most important thing in life. For him, finishing first meant success. One day, the town held a running competition, and many people gathered to watch. Ethan competed with two other young men. When the race started, all three ran side by side, but with strength and determination, Ethan sped up and reached the finish line first. The crowd cheered loudly, and Ethan felt extremely proud of himself. However, among the excited crowd, there was a wise old man who remained silent. He did not smile or clap, as if that victory was not truly something worth celebrating. The second race began quickly with two stronger competitors. Ethan kept his confidence and his determination to win at all costs. When the signal sounded, all three rushed forward, but once again Ethan crossed the finish line first. The crowd cheered and applauded non-stop, and Ethan felt even prouder, believing he was the best. Yet the wise old man still stood quietly, watching without any sign of joy. Seeing this, Ethan wanted to prove that he truly deserved all the praise, so he asked to race one more time. This time, the old man brought two new participants, but they were not strong runners. One was a weak old woman, and the other was a blind man. Ethan was very surprised to see that his opponents this time were only a frail old woman and a blind man. He did not understand why this strange race was happening, but the old man gently said that this was also a race like the others. When the signal started, Ethan ran as fast as he could and easily reached the finish line alone, while the other two remained at the starting point because they could not run. Ethan raised his hands to celebrate, but this time there was no cheering. The crowd stood in silence. No one clapped, no one smiled. Confused and disappointed, Ethan asked the old man why no one was happy even though he had won. The old man looked at him and said, "Run again, but this time all three of you must finish together." Ethan stood quietly, thinking about the old man's words. For the first time, he felt that something about his victory was not right. When the race started again, Ethan did not run ahead like before. He stood in the middle, holding the blind man's hand on one side and the weak old woman's hand on the other. The three of them walked slowly, step by step, toward the finish line. They were not fast, but they stayed together and did not leave anyone behind. When all three crossed the finish line at the same time, the crowd suddenly burst into loud cheers and applause. This time, people were not celebrating the winner, but the action. Ethan felt a different kind of pride. Not because he was the fastest, but because he helped others reach the finish line with him. After hearing the loud cheers, Ethan was still confused. He asked the old man who the people were cheering for, because in this race there was no winner in the usual way. The old man smiled kindly, placed his hand on Ethan's shoulder, and said that this time he had won something greater than all his previous victories. People were not clapping because he ran the fastest, but because he chose to help others instead of thinking only about himself. The old man said that in the race of life, what matters is not defeating everyone, but walking together with them. If you try to win alone, one day there will be no one left beside you to celebrate. True victory is when you do not leave anyone behind. The old man then slowly told Ethan that life is like a long race that everyone must run. Many people run only for success and to be better than others, but they forget that along the way there are always people who are weaker, slower, or in need of help. If we try to pass everyone and reach the finish line alone, the victory will feel lonely in the end. When we look back at life, what makes us proud is not how many people we defeated, but how many people we helped continue forward. A meaningful life is when we run with kindness, when we know when to slow down, and when we reach out our hand to someone who is struggling. Because the way we run is what truly gives value to the victory. The story ended, but the lesson Ethan learned stayed in his heart for a long time. From that day on, he understood that the race of life is not about running faster than everyone else, but about running the right way. Each person is on their own path, and sometimes we are strong, but sometimes we are weak, just like the old woman and the blind man in that race. If we only move forward without caring about the people beside us, then at the end of the road, victory will lose its meaning. A life worth being proud of is one where we can look back and see that we did not abandon anyone, that we helped others stand up, and that we reached the finish line together. Because the greatest victory in life is not finishing alone, but finishing the journey side by side with others.